Again, because of time, let me switch quickly back to the data issues. And Mr. Chairman, I've got a lot of questions on this and others that I'm going to have to just submit for the record. I would hope that we can do that. I just want to talk quickly back again about this new project on the National Mortgage Database that you're engaged with the FHFA.
Yep.
When I read to you that long list of personal identifiers that the federal record says are going to be collected, you indicated that that was just a list that was, I don't know what you call a SORN list?
It's a term of art that, frankly, is the kind of thing only bureaucrats can love. But yes, it's called a SORN, capital S, capital O, capital R, capital N. I don't even know what the acronym is, but it's a sort of statement of operational risk notice, something like that.
Well, as accepted, but it's also a statement in the federal record, the Federal Register, that says that this data will be collected.
But here's the difference. I believe that in order to access data, we have to secure it from somewhere, procure it, buy it, whatever. And it comes in whatever format it starts out in. And it's already being bought and sold out there by industry in that format. For us, in order to create the kind of database that I have pledged to you, will meet the kind of criteria I've laid out, which is de-identifying the personal identifiable information. If it comes to us, or comes to someone in a different form, then it needs to be de-identified before it can become part of the database.
So what I understand you to say is that you are actually collecting all this information, but you're not anonymizing it or de-identifying it.
I don't want to jump to that conclusion. I mean, they're collecting information, and I think they're identifying what may be in it, depending on the original data set, which is out there in the marketplace, being freely passed around. And for our purposes, if it contains that kind of information, then that would be de-identified before it comes into our database, well, and would not be used by any of my employees.
And what the FHFA notice says is that it will include that information, and then they, in this notice, also say that they're going to de-identify it for some purposes. So the question then comes back to, is this an unnecessary invasion of the privacy of citizens? When you look at that list of identifying information that is contained,
that could be.
It's scary. Contained. But here's the question. At a 2013 Urban Institute conference, prior to the issuance of this notice in the Federal Register, the FHFA's own project manager for the database said that the information in it would be, quote, easy to reverse engineer, end quote. And I've been told that by many, many other experts who we've talked to. Is that not correct?
I'd like to address that. My understanding is that quote that's being quoted is a truncated quote. It's a cutoff quote. There's more to the quote. And I believe that the individual went on to say, that's the risk. It's very important that we handle this properly, that we de-identify information, et cetera, et cetera. That quote was part of a longer passage, and the full passage needs to be quoted in order to put that in context. Taken out of context, it certainly sounds worse than I believe it actually was.
I think folks can actually watch that quote on YouTube if they would like to, but the fact is,
they can. Yeah.
The fact is, though, I mean, the core question here is, isn't it possible to reverse engineer? Every expert I've talked to about this issue, as we've started looking into it, has said yes, that you can reverse engineer and obtain the de-identified data. So this telling me that that's not possible?
This is a fair question, and particularly in the real estate market with the HMDA data that has been on the books for decades. There's a lot of information available in the real estate market and the mortgage market. I recall when I taught at law school back in the 1990s, my students coming to me and saying, here's the kind of information that's out there. I was kind of poo-pooing this at the time, and they say, here's the kind of information out there on you. They had my mortgage, they had my purchase price, they had all kinds of things about me. That's out there. That has nothing to do with whether the CFPB exists or doesn't exist. Okay?
I understand. And
it's a robust market. So.
My time is up, and so let me just say, I do understand that. In fact, it's quite concerning to me that this information is so broadly available in the public or in the private sector as well.
Yes.
So, and I do have great concerns about that, but the concern I'm expressing to you today is the concern that the government is collecting it.
I understand.
I think that's a different thing. And I think that the rationale for the government to collect this information does not necessarily justify the level of potential invasion of privacy that is involved here. And this is a much longer discussion, and the
Yeah, it
chairman's
is.
let me go a few minutes.
And let me just again state my attitude toward this, because I think it's important. I know you know it, but I'll say it again. This is an area where it's a classic area where congressional oversight is extremely important. You're very concerned about this. The public should be concerned about this. We're concerned about it. Your work is making us be on our toes to make sure that we're doing things as right as we can. The GAO inquiry has been significant and exhaustive, and it's going to result in a report, and we're working with them, and whatever findings they have or concerns they raise, we will take to heart. I'm happy to have our staff spend as much time with you and your staff as you like on this, because it's not just something you're interested in and I'm just trying to fend you off. I'm interested in it too, and it's important to this agency to be getting it right as we can. But we also we have to have information in order to do our work, other than just throwing darts against a wall, which neither you nor anybody else would like. And information about medical debt, or information about mortgage market, or information about the credit card market is very critical for you to engage in good policy making and for us to engage in good policy making, and to even know whether we're getting it good or bad. You can't even criticize us very well unless you have information as to whether what we've done is good or bad.
Well, we'll have, I'm sure, a lot more discussions about this.
Okay, sure.
We both look forward to the GAO report, and we will continue to engage on this until we get it right.
Okay, good. Thank you.